Yeah, welcome once again. I told you last time about different forms of martial arts. Um, and I also had questions from different people who want to know the difference between karate, taekwondo, and aikido, jiu-jitsu, and all that, which I explained a little about before. But people keep asking, like how many percent of the leg do you need to use in karate, how many percent of the hand do you need to use in taekwondo. Basically, taekwondo, like I said, is a Korean art, while karate, Shotokan karate, Shitoryu, they are Japanese art, and karate uses 50% of the hand and 50% of the leg, which means that it's difficult to really cage a fighter from that kind of background because he can fight without using his legs, using only his hands. He can also fight without using his legs, using only hands. So he can use both 50-50. And also, like in modern day mixed martial arts, where we have grappling, where we have ground fighting, is a place where you see people also um, want to take advantage of the ground fighting. So even in karate, the traditional karate has their own fighting system once the fight goes down. Things you're supposed to do and all that to maneuver your opponent and also overpower your opponent. So that is how it is. So karate was seen to be one of the complete art of fighting. So but now we have the modern day MMA mixed martial arts, which comprises punching, kicking, grappling, name it, whatever. You know, whatever technique you can use apart from using your teeth, apart from using your kicking one in his groin and maybe poking the eyes. Every other thing is allowed. You can use those that are in your advantage to overpower your opponent. So basically, martial art is developing um, one's body into weapon to be able to overcome your opponent. Just like if you look at other animals, you find out that they have different parts which they use to fight. I have recently discovered that pigeon uses his wing to hit during fight. So these are natural parts that the animals they understand that these are the areas they can use against their opponent. Given to them by nature. So also we are as human using not using all of our parts like that can really be harmful to an opponent. So martial art teaches you how to use this part, how to also develop them, like using the elbow. This is normal, the one we know, your fist. Martial art teaches you how to use your knee, even your ball of the foot, how to use it, how to use your head, how to use your shoulder, how to use your name it. Now, also, emphasis is also laid on, um, you know, vital areas you must take these strikes to, like what we call in karate, what we call shito and how what we call same hand, how we call shito uchi, where it's striking. So all this you must understand the area that are suitable, the areas that they can attack, and the kind of response you get from having this kind of attack. So when you train, as you train every day, you're exposed, you're being taught carefully on how these things work. So it's really, really an interesting journey. And like the Moon Thai I talked about, Moon Thai, you know, brought the elbow use, the knee use to championship, you know. But today, in mixed martial arts, it's another scoring part in the human body. So martial art is so interesting. But like I always say, apart from the combat nature, martial art is also one of the life winning skills one needs to have. And also martial arts also transcend fighting. It has those life winning skills. Like I said before, talking about perseverance, humility, respect, integrity, indomitable warrior's might, and resilience. These are very important. If you have this, you're sure no matter who you are, if you're a doctor, you're disciplined, you'll be able to face your work adequately. If you're a doctor, you need integrity, you'll be able to face work. This brings me back to the uh, century past. Talk about the samurai. In samurai, they are this class of people that are so loyal. They use them to protect the dynasty, they protect the kings. So because they are very strong, but they are very humble and they are very loyal. They are even ready to put up their life for their master. They're ready to give their life. And you know what? Sometimes if they fail, because believe that one samurai equals 100 men, because they dedicate their time, their life in practice of the sword, practice of self-defense. So when they finish, they use it to protect their loved ones. So and these skills usually is passed from generation to generation. No wonder it has been something that was done in secrecy before the modern day martial art practice. So the samurai, they come up, they try as much as they can to protect their superior, I mean their masters, and they are so loyal, they're so strong, but still they are very respectful. They have integrity. Having to take care of the majesty or the king or whosoever demands you working with people sometimes that want to go against or want to overthrow the government. But these are classes of people that are very, very committed to the cause of the king or the kingdom where they protect. So it's not easy for you to buy. So there's a high level of integrity, there's a high level of humility. apart from the fighting aspect, the fight, apart from, yes, it has also economic values. Yeah, people going to martial arts based on economic value, that you're going to compete for your state, going to compete for your nation, which are in turns you're being paid and all that. But martial arts is the only sport that pay little attention to medal winning, but it is more of character development. That is why martial arts is different from other sports. You see a well-grounded martial artist, you see him is humble, you see him he has humility, you see him he has integrity, you see him he has courage, he's fearless, he's strong, name it. So these are things that I expect that once you enroll into a martial arts school, also understand that these things are done, these are the steps that are being taken and the levels you must attain. So these are the things that you need to know. So it has been an amazing journey for me, working those years, over 30 years in martial arts. Started when I was small, today, promoting sports, promoting karate, promoting Muay Thai, promoting Taekwondo, promoting MMA. I didn't tell you, I also fought in Kung Fu, winning the highest medal in Nigeria. Don't forget, Nigeria is a very big country. The population is high. So if you're fighting to the level of national, it means you must have done very good. So I went to that festival, the highest sporting event in Nigeria. I call it the Nigeria Olympics, and I was able to compete and won that gold. So you see, once you are able to train very well, accomplishing these things doesn't take much time. Once you're dedicated, which is one of the things that martial art teaches, dedication. When you go to martial arts school, you see a master or a student working on a technique many times. You see, this is the concept of martial art. It's not about throwing a punch, but that punch must have the basic criteria for you to be able to reach your opponent. That is why you're a trained person. You must have speed, think of accuracy, think of power, think of timing. You must have these basic criteria to be able to strike perfectly. So for you to do this, you need to repeat this technique over and over and over and over. You come back the next day, you start from where you stopped, begin to do this technique over and over and over again. Martial art believes in philosophy of 1% in a day. If you begin to do a thing and you're adding value of 1% in everything you're doing in a day, 1% every day, 1% every day, the power of compounding comes to play. And within a month or before 2 months, you see the level which you are going to. That is why you see in karate school, you go beyond the kibadachi, what is called kibadachi hot stance, you punching, yeah. You wonder, why are they punching so long? They should learn some other thing. No, it has to do with having that technique well performed, so it sinks to your system. Karate believes that a blow can end a fight, or a blow should be able to kill one's opponent. So for you to develop this, you must have repeated it over and over and over again. So these are the philosophy of martial arts. I'll get back to you after this. Let's take some. So welcome back. Now, having said that about the power of 1% in martial arts, let's look at Shotokan karate. Basically, karate divided into what is called 3 Ks. 3 Ks, 1 K means Kinyon, then the second means Kata, the third means Kumite. So these are the 3 Ks, and these are the fundamentals of karate. But there have been argument out of these 3 Ks, which one is most important. The Kihyons is a Japanese language. Kihyons is where you perform the basic technique. Like I said, you repeat the technique over time. For instance, you're doing a strike, and this strike is supposed to be Shito-uke. So when you're training, you perform the Shito-uke, perform the Shito-uke, perform the Shito-uke. Now, maybe say Shito, Oke, Orakin, Uchi, MP, whatever. So now, this is where you begin to learn and understand this technique. So you move with these techniques as many times as possible. So you repeat them over and over again. That is called kihyoms. So we have what is called kata. Kata is when you put these kihyoms together. They have techniques. They have prearranged movements from this technique with their names and different philosophy. I mean, why they founded, how they founded the kata and all that, but who also started, who did that kata. So we have that kata. You can say it's demonstration in karate. Then we have the next K, which is the third one, kumite. So in kumite is the sparring, which is the fight. But see, most students they will tell you, I'm not after the Kenyans, I'm not after the kata, I just want to know the kumite, I just want to learn how to fight. But so there's always this question, which of the K's are the most important, is the most important. So I would tell you as a master, the most important K is the Kenyans, which is the first one, which is uh, repetition of technique. You see, this is where this is what enables you knowing the technique, understanding the technique, trying the technique, building the strength that is needed for such technique. When you do this technique, now you can now graduate to kata. Then, if you don't know all these techniques, you don't know how to use them, you're not strong at them, how can you apply them in fight, in real fight scenario? No, it will be difficult. So, but through Kihon's training, you kick many times, you strike, you do whatever. So when the fight comes, you will be able to use it and you use it very well. So the three Ks are very important. But for me, as a master, the first K is the most important in karate. So we also so many persons also asked of um, the styles in karate. Yeah, we have different styles. Like Shotokan Karate is founded by Gishin Funakoshi Sensei. We have the Shito Ryo, we have the Gojo Ryo, and we have the Shitokai, and we have the Kokoshinkai. The Kokoshinkai found by Sensei Oyama of the blessed memory. So these are different styles of karate. Then we have in Kung Fu different styles also in Kung Fu. Then we have a multi, which is in one word, but we also have different masters and different philosophy. So that's how it is. So the art of fighting um, is a lifelong event. Even the animals fight, and people want to see people fight, and people want to fight. People want to learn how to fight. So it makes it interesting. So those that are trained, you cannot actually, defend yourself properly if you have not had the opportunity to try these techniques. So when you try the techniques, you see it's workable, then you have that confidence. That's where sparring comes in. Sparring is not where you kill your opponent or you kill your teammate. No, sparring. That's why you see in martial arts. Before you start, you bow. After fighting, you bow again. What you're doing, you're thanking your opponent for giving you the opportunity to test these techniques. Because no matter how you shadow box, you need a human object. You need a human target to be able to try your techniques, to know your speed, to know your strength. So that's why you say, thank you for giving me that opportunity. So that is how it goes in martial arts. Very, very important. So so many things about martial art that makes martial art interesting. Then the demonstration, which is the kata, we have different kinds of kata. We have 26 katas in Shotokan Karate. Very interesting. You do the Ian Shodan, Ian Lindan, Ian Sandan, Ian Yondan, Ian Gondan. But first start with Taikoku Shodan kata. Before you go to Ian Shodan kata, Ian Linden Carter, Ian Sanden Carter, Ian Yonden Carter, Ian Golden Carter. Then after that, you now go to the higher katas like Jion, Nijishiho, Goju Shosho, um, Nijishiho, Ba Sadai, MP, um, Jion, have Shinte, have name them Unsu, we have Kankudai, we have many of them. So a master is expected to know all of these katas and be able to perform these katas very, very well. So stay tuned, I'll tell about the kata. Let's go for this break. Welcome. Now, the act of fighting, kumite. You see, most fighters go into fighting. Okay, I didn't tell you. Okay, maybe by my introduction, I am multiple time national karate champion in Nigeria. Won gold medals, in many of the championships during my time. An international champion in karate and a world karate champion. Um, I won gold in World Martial Art Games in Bangkok. That's in Thailand. Um, Also, a kata champion in Nigeria. I was a kata champion. That's the demonstration aspect of karate. I was a committee champion. More medals in committee. That's the fighting side. So I have tested the real combat. So many times some fighters ask me, Sensei, how come we were able to accomplish all this? How were you able to win this fight? And I look at today's fight and I smile. Most fighters find it difficult to, really take time to develop their techniques. Those are the very important things you must do first. It's not just about kicking. It's not just about how well you can kick, but you must kick to be able to hit your opponent before he covers up that target. And how do you achieve this? You must have done those kicks many times. Just like the master said, he's not scared of a man who can kick 1,000 kicks, but he's scared of a man who can kick a particular kick for 1,000 times, which means he becomes a master of it. So that's what you need basically as a fighter, to be a master of your technique. And how do you do this? It's through repetition. Then you must also understand one of the things um, I used during my time. You must understand the principles of Gono-sen. You must understand the principles of Sendo-sen. These are basic fighting principles. I should be able to know techniques which I will perform or which I will counter with. I must be able to build my counter, can lure you to attack me. As you attack, I counter you and make my score. I can lure you to attack me. As you try to attack me, I hit you with my speed, breaking your target before you come into my range of contact. So also, you can also allow your opponent to come in with his attack, and you pull sideways or you pull backward. As soon as he exhausts that technique, immediately you counter, because by then he's very vulnerable. He's open, because we are very open when we attack many times. The attack we make keeps us open. So if you're a good fighter, you have the skill, you have the speed, you'll be able to catch him and catch that particular spot you want. And don't forget his spot. So it's scoring. So once you hit, they take your scores. So these are the things that fighters must understand. So you must develop your technique. You must have them in your arsenal. You must know when to use them. You must know about timing. You must know about accuracy. Speed and accuracy is the word. Very, very important. Speed, accuracy, very important. I want to hit your nose, I should be able to strike your nose. I want to strike your mouth, I should be able to strike your mouth. And I should be able to do this within the time limit I have. Because you're meeting your fellow fighter who can also read and understand when you want to attack. And that is why when you practice these techniques over and over again, you discover that they don't see your technique because it becomes fast. So when it becomes fast, you can always score before you cover that particular target. So you work on your technique, like I said, the principles of 1% every day. You do one kick every day, one kick every day, one kick every day. You improve. So the speed will be there, the have good timing and the accuracy. So when you want to kick, you can kick and hit a particular target which you really want to. So those is the things that you need to be a good fighter and to be able to to overpower your opponent. Fighting is not just about strength. It's about tactics. It's about how balanced you are. It's about how you can see. So you must also train your eyes to be able to see techniques. Most fighters, they just fight. Sometimes you train, allow your opponents to attack you. In that way, you begin to learn, and your eyes of the eye begin to open for you to be able to see techniques when it's coming and the direction it's going. Just like a pure novice. When you're taking a punch to his face, you see it's natural, he closes his eye. But a fighter dare not close his eyes, he will see and try and make a score from the opening of your attack. So these are the things a fighter must understand. So that is number one basic rule you need to know. I'll get you some after this break. Welcome back. What else do we need to talk about fighting? Fighting is very interesting, and to me, it's my best part in martial art because this is where you express all what you have learned. Like I said, you thank your opponent for giving you the opportunity to express your techniques. So this is a place where you learn to know if these things are workable. This kick, can I actually strike? Can I actually kick one's head and before he runs out? So committee that's fighting is unique and is should I say interesting when you have these things worked out. So when you have your techniques coupled, and now you know I want to do this, I can do this, I have good speed on this, I have this, that, and you can assure yourself that I'm sure I can kick someone's head without him seeing it. Yeah, I've experienced when I was coming up as a young athlete, I went for a training tour with one of the best fighter in Nigeria who was about to retire. So we trained for a long time. Then when I was about leaving, because I was to leave from his place to a national championship. So that night, we decided to have the committee section. So he took me on that committee section, that the fighting section. And something happened that night. It wasn't dark. We have a hall, well, right. But he threw a kick called Ora Moashi. For the martial artists, you know what is Ora Moashi? The hook kick, like hook slap kick. Then I've never seen anybody kick that way. You know, the funny part of it, not just that he scored me, not just about the speed, but I was unable to know if he used his left leg or his right leg to kick because it came like a lightning speed. So it's important that you learn how to fight very well. Speed is important, and you must understand that when fighting your fellow champion, he's as smart and as wise as you are. So your technique, you must not telegraph. Telegraphing, I mean, your shoulders, you want to punch, your shoulder going on before you punch. No, a good fighter will give a very bad counter, which he might even knock you off. So you must be able to know how to strike, like a lightning, before he knows you're there. So when you put these things, these are the things that differentiates you from other fighters. These are the things you need to have in back of your mind while you're training. When you do kick, you ask yourself, is this kick good enough? Okay, it's well done. It's well positioned. Now, what about the speed? Will I be able to kick and get to my target before they block it, or before the person runs away from the target? So, if you're able to do that, okay. What about the impact? Will I have the strength that will really execute this technique very well? So these are the things you must look at. You must examine yourself first, because first, when they teach you the technique, you learn the technique, like we say, dojo is the training place. You must go home, practice, develop the technique. So in that area of development, that's where you begin to work on your speed, accuracy. For instance, you're taught how to kick slap kick, and you've known how the fundamentals and the preparation on how to land a slap kick. What you do now is kicking that slap kick. You can kick that slap kick for 300 times. When you do that with a target 300 times, you begin to develop the speed that catapults your technique off the ground. You begin to have the confidence of hitting the target. These are the major things. I'll tell you the last one after this break. Okay, another area I want to talk about, looking at the young athletes, they need encouragement, because today a lot of people go into fighting because they want to make a living, and fighting also demands time. You need to train, you need to give yourself time, which means you must have food to eat. So you need to work hard, or you need somebody also to support you. Family members like me, I had my parents were actually in support, psychologically, financially, and otherwise. So which actually gave me that push, that required push. So when you have a family, it's important. So, but one of the challenges I had then was I was so small then, and I was like the youngest in my team, and I was also like, should I say, fast in catching some of these techniques. So I, training karate, you train with the Japanese language, and even the katas are named are Japanese names. So I had some adults in my class that, were very finding it difficult to cram those names, finding it difficult to perform those techniques. So, but as a young growing boy, I was too sharp. Like the saying goes, there's no limit to a growing child's, retentive memory, how far he can memorize things. So I was fast to memorize, and also fast to perform those techniques. So, and because of me, I'll be called. This is funny now. I'll be called to show the big guys the technique. So my coach was using me to tell them that, look, if this small boy can do it, why can't you do this? So when that happens, each time when he goes out, When we're fighting, they don't fight me like a kid, they fight me like an adult. So most times they beat me up, and to an extent I'll be crying. But to a time I now decided not to cry again. And that was where my story changed in martial arts. I was beaten to the extent that I refused crying again. I said to myself, I won't cry again. So I became very strong. So when I go out of my club, when there's a general grading where they change belts, like a state grading, when I meet others, the fight becomes so easy for me because I had a better one, a better beating than in my club. So that was how I started, having upper hands um, above my opponents in the state, in the country. So that was my challenge, but though it was a funny one. So, but a lot of students face different challenges, just like life will not face the same kind of challenge. Some could be financial aspects because of where they stay, far from the gym. Sometimes because of the economic situation, um, no food. Well, you need food, or you need food after training. So when they look at this, they think, if I go and exhaust the little strength I have, how do I feed? You know. But in everything, there is determination. That's where determination comes in. You must be serious. You must have that thing, that purpose that is driving you. The psychology behind you coming to training. The psychology behind your first day in class. This is what becomes your guiding system and what will drive you. So when you remember these things, you can't get tired. So you train every day, you work every day, you practice every day.